The Holbrook Arma is Holbrook's first Gen 3 power paddle. It introduces a dual density core meant to increase the sweet spot of off-center shots. Is it a gimmick or is it the next big power paddle? Let's find out. Shout out to Premier Racket Sports for providing me with this demo. Definitely check them out if you're in the Atlanta area. As a reminder, this is more of a first impression rather than a full review. I played with the Arma for a couple days, so I don't have that much insight on long-term durability. The Holbrook Arma comes in 3 shapes, the T, S, and X. The T is a standard elongated shape, while the S is their standard shape. Their X is their hybrid shape, which has an elongated face and a shorter handle, similar to the Carbon 3. I chose to test out the S shape because I'm a proponent of standard shape paddles. And as you can see, it's pretty much the same shape as the Carbon 2 True Foam. All 3 of the shapes are 14 millimeters thick and they have 2 face options, carbon fiber and the metallic. The X, however, only comes in the metallic. My paddle came in at 8.1 ounces. I also played with my typical setup minus the ethos grip. So I had lead tape strips at 4 and 8 o'clock with a 9-gram flick weight, and that came out to be 8.7 ounces. So the idea behind the Arma is that it's a Gen 3 paddle with a dual density core. Holbrook claims it provides more energy on off-center shots, which is really enticing to me actually. I don't trust myself to hit the sweet spot every time, so I always modify my setup to enlarging the sweet spot. But let's see if this actually works. This thing definitely has great pop and generates a lot of pace and power on counters and putaways. Compared to broken in Pro 4s, this thing had slightly more pop. When I added the weight on the paddle, I didn't notice a huge difference in pop, but I think that's to be expected. It has a thinner Gen 2 feel rather than a foamy Gen 3 feel, which I thought I would hate, but I quite enjoyed. For example, when playing with other Gen 3 paddles, certain resets might pop up more than you're expecting because your overall paddle has a more muted feel. Although this paddle does have a lot of pop and it's not so easy to control, I felt like it was predictable, so that's always a plus. The spin of this paddle was pretty good. Nothing crazy, but not bad. I couldn't shape the dinks and speed-ups like paddles with more dwell time, but it could just be the normal trade-off between a pop of your paddle and also maybe just a form thing. The sweet spot was solid for the most part, especially for it being stock. I had a couple of dead spots towards the top and like right here, but with my normal setup, that usually goes away. I did hit more drives into the net than normal. This could be because of the pop and I'm not used to it, or the dwell time, but yeah, I just wanted to point that out. When I added the weight, it did improve, but didn't completely go away. I think on certain lower balls, I'm not used to the exact pop or spin of this paddle, so it was hitting into the net, but I think once you get accustomed to it, it should be fine. In stock form, the power of this paddle is really good. I think the top end power is slightly lower than a Perseus Pro 4, but as a reminder, this is a standard shape paddle. I would say it's at that point where you have to pay attention to your serve because if you hit it high, it will go out. After adding the weight, I felt like it was easier to keep the balls in, maybe because it modified my swing speed back to my normal swing speed. Overall, I think the Holbrook Arma is a great power paddle. It played surprisingly well stock, but it is pretty light, so you can add weight if you want. The Arma provides a more responsive and poppy feel than most power paddles on the market. So I think this is a great option for players who like that type of feel. I did hear about some durability issues with this paddle. Pickleball Studio reported that his core crushed pretty early, but I'm not sure what the general consensus is. 3 people demoed the paddle before me, and I played with it quite a bit, and mine seems pretty okay. I don't hear any core crush or crackling in my paddle. Albeit I'm not the hardest hitter, but it was used quite a bit. Holbrook does offer a 1-year warranty, I believe. So if you're okay with going through a warranty process, then I will give it a shot. Given how it plays, I'm surprised this paddle is not more popular. I haven't played with the paddle tech too much, but I would assume this plays like it, but a bigger sweet spot. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment below what paddle you want to see next. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.